The records are real. Hold on to that, because almost everything you have heard about this story is not. And the first person who lied to you about it was him. June 1895, Philadelphia. Frank Geyer has been a police detective for the better part of 20 years. He is 42 years old. He drinks his coffee black, keeps his moustache trimmed, and files his reports in a hand so neat the clerks joke about it. For months, investigators have held out hope the children are simply traveling, slow to write home, nothing more. Geyer isn't so sure. 20 years on, the force teaches you not to trust the story that lets everyone sleep easier. He prefers the desk. The desk doesn't ask him what he believes. 3 children, Alice Pitezel, 15, Nellie, 11, Howard, 8. They have been traveling with a friend of their father's for 8 months. And here is the detail that will not let Frank Geyer sleep. The children wrote letters home the whole time. Cheerful letters, homesick letters, letters asking why mother doesn't write back. Their mother never received a single page. Someone collected them instead. Someone kept them in a tin box. This search will take Frank Geyer 4,000 miles through 5 cities and 2 countries, knocking on 900 doors. And at the end of it, America will need a new word for what he finds. The man who took the children is already in a cell. He was arrested in Boston 7 months earlier, not for murder, for insurance fraud. He is polite to his jailers. He gives interviews. He writes letters complaining about the food. If the fraud charge is all they can prove, he will serve a short sentence and walk. His lawyers know it. He knows it. His name, one of his names, is H. Holmes. Herman Webster Mudgett is born in 1861 in Gilmanton, New Hampshire, a church-going farm town of a few hundred people. Later, writers will fill this childhood with omens, dissected animals, a boy forced to touch a skeleton who fell in love with death. Almost all of it traces back to one source, Holmes himself, selling his life story from a prison cell. Remember the rule: when this man is the only witness, we don't call it a fact. Here is what the record does show. He is bright. He marries at 17, abandons the wife without divorcing her, and will marry twice more the same way. He graduates from the University of Michigan's medical school in 1884, where he later admits he stole cadavers, not for science, but to fake deaths and collect insurance. And for once, the paper trail of fraudulent policies agrees with him. The building swallows the block corner. 3 stories, 100-odd rooms, shops at street level, apartments above. Contractors are hired, fired, and replaced in waves. The newspapers will later say he did it so that no one alive understood the floor plan. The court records show a simpler engine underneath. He fired builders when they asked to be paid. Lawsuit after lawsuit follows the construction like gulls behind a plow. But the finished building is strange. Corridors that bend and stop, rooms without windows, doors that open onto brick, a walk-in vault on the 2nd floor, fitted like a bank's, in a building that never held a bank. When creditors came looking for the furniture they'd sold him, entire rooms had disappeared behind new walls. A building built to hide things, that much is documented. What else it hid? Hold that question. In May 1893, the World's Columbian Exposition opens 6 miles east. 27 million people come to see the White City. Electric light by the acre, a wheel that lifts 2,000 people into the sky. Holmes hangs a sign and calls his building the World's Fair Hotel. The legend says tourists checked in by the dozen and never checked out. The record, we will count it properly at the end, says less and worse, because the people who did disappear around H.H. Holmes were not anonymous tourists. They had names. Julia Connor, who kept his books, and her daughter Pearl, last seen Christmas Eve, 1891. Emmeline Sigrand, his secretary, last seen December 1892. Minnie Williams, who signed her Texas property over to him, and her sister Nanny, last seen the summer of the fair. Employees, fiancés, women who trusted him, whose paper, deeds, policies, wages, always ended up in his hands. No one connected them, not yet. Chicago was a city you could vanish into, and business at the hotel was, by every appearance, fine. By 1893, the appearance is cracking. Creditors have lawyers. Lawyers have process servers. Holmes needs money that doesn't come with a paper trail pointing backward, and he has one asset left, a man who trusts him completely. Benjamin Pitezel is a carpenter. He has worked Holmes's schemes for years, signed what he was told to sign, built what he was told to build. He drinks too much and he loves his 5 children. Holmes takes out a $10,000 life insurance policy on him. The plan, as Pitezel understands it, fake his death, substitute a cadaver, the old medical school trick, split the payout. In August 1894, Pitezel moves to Philadelphia under the name B.F. Perry and opens a patent office on Callowhill Street. He is the bait in his own trap. On September 4, 1894, a customer finds B.F. Perry dead on the 2nd floor, burns, and a bottle of chloroform nearby. The coroner rules it an accident, an explosion during a chemical experiment. The insurance company needs the body identified before it pays. 2 people travel to Philadelphia to do it, H.H. Holmes and Alice Pitezel, 15 years old, brought to look at a dead man and say whether he is her father. He is. There was never a cadaver. There was never a trick. Holmes had simply done it, and the jury would later hear how. Chloroform, while Pitezel was drunk and helpless, the fire came after. The $10,000 pays out. And now Holmes does something that, even after 130 years, is hard to say out loud. He goes to the widow, Carrie, sick, broke, terrified of her own creditors, and explains that Ben is alive, hiding from the law, and that the children should come along quietly to meet him. She gives him Alice, Nellie, and Howard. He moves them from city to city like luggage: Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Detroit, Toronto, always one hotel ahead of their mother, who he is also moving from city to city, sometimes blocks apart, never letting them meet. The children write home. He collects the letters, the tin box. Then, in a St. Louis jail cell, a train robber named Marion Hedgepeth decides H.H. Holmes owes him $500. Hedgepeth had been Holmes's cellmate during a short stint for a mortgage fraud, the one arrest Holmes didn't talk his way out of fast enough. Holmes, who could never resist an audience, had described the insurance scheme in detail and promised Hedgepeth $500 for the name of a crooked lawyer. He never paid, so Hedgepeth wrote it all down and handed it to the warden. The insurance company read the letter, looked again at the Perry file, and called the Pinkertons. On November 17, 1894, they arrest Holmes in Boston. Fraud, that's all it is on paper. Carrie Pitezel, deceived twice over, is arrested too, then released. A widow who cannot tell police where 3 of her own children are. For 7 months, the question just sits there, in an open file, in Philadelphia. Which is where Frank Geyer came in. Geyer leaves Philadelphia on June 26, 1895, carrying photographs of the children and the tin box of their unmailed letters. The letters are his map. A homesick child writes down everything: the name of a hotel, a lake, wind, what Howard got in trouble for. Geyer works the letters line by line: Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Toronto. In every city, the same ritual: hotels first, then estate agents, then door after door after door. A man with 2 little girls, a man with a boy. Renting houses, always for a few days. Hotels were cheaper. Ask yourself why a man on the move would want a house instead, Geyer asked. He kept the answer to himself and kept knocking. The Cincinnati trail dies. Indianapolis, a rented cottage, then nothing. Detroit, a house rented for a week, a neighbor who remembers 2 girls in the yard looking half-starved for the basement, an acid tank, a stretching rack, an elasticity determinator. Each edition's castle was deadlier than the last because each edition had to outsell the last. Reporters paid the caretaker for tours. Then, on August 19th, the building conveniently caught fire. Arson never solved. The evidence burned with it, and the myth was free to grow without a landlord. The trial, that October, was for one murder, Benjamin Pitezel's. For the first days, Holmes defended himself, cross-examined the coroner's physician for hours, wept on cue, was described by the Inquirer as the most brilliant courtroom performance they had ever printed, and by the jury as unconvincing. Carrie Pitezel testified about the tin box. He was convicted in 90 minutes of deliberation, and then he gave America the version it still repeats. From his cell, for a reported $7,500 from the Hearst papers, Holmes confessed to 27 murders. Newspapers located several of his 27 alive, and some of them reading about their own murders at breakfast. He retracted, reconfessed, retracted again. So let's grade the legend against the ledger. The Childhood Omens, his own paid memoir, uncorroborated. The vanished drugstore owners. The record shows the store was sold and the widow moved on. No murder, just a con man's takeover retold as a horror story. The torture machinery, invented column inch by column inch in August 1895. The 200 victims, 9 can be credibly documented: the Connors, Emmeline Sigrand, the Williams sisters, and 4 Pitezels. 9 is not 200. 9, 5 of them women who worked for him, 4 of them a family who trusted him, was enough. On May 7, 1896, Holmes was hanged at Moyamensing Prison. His last request, that his coffin be filled with cement so that no one could dig him up. In 2017, researchers dug him up anyway to kill a rumor that he'd escaped the noose. The cement had kept him exactly where they put him. They called it the hotel built for murder. Strip away everything he sold and the papers resold, and what's left is smaller and uglier. A building built for fraud by a swindler who found that people were the easiest property to make disappear. He wanted to be remembered as a devil. He was a liar with a mortgage. The devil was better for circulation. Next time, a city that was ordered in writing to keep the music playing, or else.